garage. It's my garage. I'm Dave. That's my boy. What's up, Beefcake? Mr. Muggles, he's a good boy. This is the second video I made because the first video I kept getting calls and interruptions. He was in the house whining like a little bitch. And then I ran into a problem trying to do this and I had to backtrack and fabricate something. So I'm gonna go over the mods that we've done, some changes that are coming. I felt a little bad after Brian Stokes did all the work on the Triumph and for me thinking about turning right around and selling it. Now, the rational part of my brain is saying, look, it was under warranty. It had to be repaired regardless of whether I keep it or move it on. And honestly, if I had taken that to the dealer with that level of what needed to be done, it would have gone to Brian anyway. And he admits that. He's cool with it. But we were talking about it, and he's like, you know, I rode this thing, and it's wheeling down the road in the first 3 gears. He's like, and this is a guy who used to race, and he's ridden world superbikes, and was a pro racer and stuff like that. Like, he knows bikes and how to ride. He's like, this is probably one of the best speed twins or anything of that caliber I've ever ridden. He's like, what you've done to it is amazing. This is a special bike. And I'm like, you're kind of right. So, but I already bought this anticipating getting rid of it. So now I have the Speed Twin, which is coming home Saturday. I've got the new MT-10. I've got the ZX-14R, and then we got the Ducati. That's my wife's. I'm going to keep all 3 bikes for a while. I don't need 3 brand new bikes, plus a 4th one that I can ride. But we're going to keep them for a little while, and I think I'm going to let that one go. Towards the summer, I think I'm going to sell that. The reason being, that's a great bike, but I haven't done so much to it, and I love it. It's so fast, it's comfortable, it's fun, but there's nothing really special about it. And it doesn't have good electronics. It's not like the new Busa that's got all macked out electronics like that. Like that. So that's where I'm kind of like, I really can't justify. I don't have the time to drive the car, do the other things I want to do, and have 3 brand new motorcycles that I have to maintain, do oil changes, all that kind of stuff, and give them all enough of a ride to justify the cost. 2 bikes is enough. So I think I'm going to let this one go. This one's brand new, and it's all the things I loved about the R1, but naked. Max, don't eat that. And then, you know, this is an amazing bike. I don't really want to get rid of it, but if I had to choose between the 3, and I don't necessarily, I mean, I can afford to keep all of them. To me, it seems wasteful to have the cost, have the insurance, take up the room in the garage, and it's like, I'm going to ride the Speed Twin more, and I'm certainly going to ride this thing. So I think I'm going to let that one go. It's got the more Mafia tune. It's got the exhaust and a better tires and upgraded the brake pad. That's it. Other than that, you know, this is as awesome as this bike is. It's not special. You find Busas and Kawasaki's and Hondas and stuff all over the place. It's not. I can always get another one or something. But this is really more to my liking. I always like the naked Street Fighter type bikes. And so I've already started doing a couple mods. And I know somebody was like goofing on me. Like, dude, you're at the first traffic light. In the first minute of your video, you literally left the dealer and you're at the first light and you're already thinking of the mods. And that's just how I am. So the first thing I did, got rid of the passenger pegs. I'm going to get some little plastic plugs to put in there. I'm never going to take a passenger, so don't need it. The only reason the passenger plugs could go on potentially is if I had a bag and I needed, you know, that slips on the back, and I have a really nice BMW. It's like a $300 travel bag that can clip onto the seat, but then you need an anchor point for the straps to connect to. So I'm keeping them, but I can throw them on just to use as anchors, you know, when needed. I did add the swing arm spools. Tank protector, which is nice and muted. I don't like the things with the devil woman and all that gay stuff. I don't need that. And then the other thing, and this was the pain in the dick, was coming up with the bar end mirror. These bar ends, once you realize how to get them off, the problem with them is they don't just screw into the end of the bar here. The bar ends here. So if you take those out and you try to screw this in to what you normally would, then this end's all mushy because it doesn't have anything underneath supporting it. I don't like how Yamaha did that. So that's my first gripe with the bike, is if you want to do a bar end mirror, it's easy enough to take it off, although we had to do a mod over here, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, it was kind of a pain. I had to sit there and kind of jump through some hoops to get this all in there. And you know how I had to end up doing it? I had to drill the end of the bar 6mm hole and then tap it with a 6mm thread and then basically screw this into the end of that. Now, I do not know if this is going to be the end-all be-all of but it'll get me working for now. So that was the first thing I had to figure out how to do. And got silver spacers in there and stuff. I'm not really happy with it. So I'm going to have to find a different bar end that goes in and has some kind of a mounting hole, something that I can screw into that's a little shorter but fills in the gap. Because like I said, the bar ends here. And then this has a skinnier part that's the same width as the bar. So when you take that off, the end of this just folds. There's like half an inch of grip hanging off the bar, and you can't move everything up because everything's keyed into holes in the bar. So not cool, Yamaha, but it'll work for now. It's functional. It'll get me by for a week or two until I can find something on the internet that's kind of made for this. The other thing was I had to remove this so that I could, when you remove the mirror, this one is lefty-loosey, this one's righty-tighty. So if the bike falls over while you're moving forward, the ground's going by this way, it hits the mirror and it loosens it rather than it being tight and it strips or snaps it. That one already is lefty-loosey, so if you fall moving on the left side, it folds in and loosens. You don't want it to over-tighten. So they did this reverse thread. Well, I don't have a 10mm reverse thread bolt. So what I did was I took the bolt that was in there, and then there's the lock nut, and I basically just cut the nut with a hacksaw, belt sanded the end nice and smooth, screwed it in by hand, and then just jammed the lock nut down on top with a little bit of Loctite so that thing is anchored. On this side, it doesn't matter. I can get a plug for that, but there's nothing functional here. Here it's functional. You have to thread it in to hold this, the bracket for the brake reservoir. So those are the mods so far. I need to figure out, I'm going to get a tail tidy, get one off of Amazon, and then I'm going to get, Max, what are you doing? Dude, are you licking the bike? What are you licking or eating? Drop it. Better not be eating anything. So, yeah, so that's what we're doing. Tail tidy's next. Frame sliders. I'll probably get some GB Racing case covers. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good pup right there. When you're not whining. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to have to come up with a different bar end solution and a mirror solution. And by the time I did this mod and cut the thing and got it the way I want, and that looks fine, it works. And then I got to this side and realized my problem, and I'm like, oh, I'll just go back to stock. Oh, right. And that had already come off and been cut. So I was sort of at the point of no return there. But this works. They fold in. What you growling at? What do you hear? Is that TJ coming over to pick up his guns? All right, I'm going to let him in the house and then let TJ in. Come on, buddy. Come on. Get in the house. Stay out of trouble. Don't eat the couch. So that's what we've got so far. I'm not even going to show the other video of me cursing and trying to figure all this shit out because it was really friggin' annoying. Oh, he's not here yet. Hello, Mustang. I don't know what he was growling at. But that's where we're at. So, cleaned the chain, adjusted it. I've set the suspension up a little bit, but I got to get up to GMD CompuTrack. I was going to do that Saturday, but I got to go pick up the Speed Twin. And then I am going to, tomorrow in between meetings, I am going to have to re-clean out this garage because some of the clutter and little bits of stuff is mine, but most of this is my wife. And she always says she doesn't do this, but her painting stuff, because she wanted to paint inside, and when they were done, they dumped it there. Let's see, her cotton crap, bag of chewy, the other stuff there from the painting, her mom's wheelchair, her cooler, her lamps, dog food bins that she put out here. So I did have this all cleaned up at one point. And she's like, I don't put all the mess in there. And I'm like, yeah, as soon as we get a bare spot of garage space, you're like, ooh, I could put things there. And you just start throwing shit there. And then I end up right back where I started. So tomorrow is going to be a clean up the garage day and get my stuff out of here. And I got to figure out where to put her crap. But I got to get ready because I'm going to have 4 freaking bikes in the garage. And we need to get that sorted out for that. So anyway, stay tuned for more updates because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. We'll talk to you all later.